thing is, man, it's crazy because I have this theory that as a creative, I'm in love with creating. I let everybody else be in love with the product.
Please record your message. Make the wrong turn on the road that leads to wealth. Find yourself lost on the road that leads to hell. Spot a demon even when they screaming like they mean it well.
Welcome back to another episode of the Living Water Chronicles podcast, man. I'm your host, Tack.
This is Jay.
And tonight we have a super duper special guest, like heavy hitter in the game. We mess with him. We know him. We all went to school together back in HBCU, Alabama, all that.
Hey, dog, baby.
I don't know who you are, man.
Hey, man, this is Uncle CJ, the artist formerly known as No Self Foster, Mobile, Alabama representative. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you for coming on. Real talk.
Sure. But yeah, man, we ain't gonna hold you, man. Like, so what's been up, man? What's been going on with you? What you got out? What's good with Uncle CJ?
I released the album earlier this year on my father's birthday. It's called His Song Grew Wings. I lost my father last year on March 30th. He passed the day after his birthday. So for this year, I put out a project in memory of him, and it's kind of like a love letter to him and our relationship, and you know, the ups and downs that came with it. So that's the main thing that I got going on right now. I've been working a lot behind the scenes with getting other artists and like helping them get their sound and helping them get their aesthetics and their looks together. I've been doing a lot of like graphic art, just a lot of back, you know, behind the scenes type stuff that I wasn't too keen on before. I'm finding myself being a lot more interested in that now.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead, Jay. My bad.
No, man. Yeah, and my condolences to your father passing, man. I know it's tough. He sounds like he was a heavy influence on your life, man. So, you know, shout out to him, and you know, definitely got to listen to the album.
For sure. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I'll be sure to send y'all the link after this is over.
Please
Yes.
do that.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
let everybody else know where to get it too, man. You go for it.
I mean, it's on Bandcamp, man. You can search His Song Grew Wings. It's His Song Grew Wings, but like it's one word, and it's one word. And the reason I was really drawn to it is the title is because the last letter of every word ends up being the first letter of the next word. So it's His Song Grew Wings as one word. I thought that was really dope when I came up with it. And I'm gonna get my website and shit in order so people can find it on there. It's not on Spotify, Apple Music, or anything right now. It was kind of like a passion project. I will put it out on there, but I'm just waiting to get some content shot so I can really promote it the way I want to. COVID and kind of slow down a lot of plans, you know.
Everything, bro.
Yeah.
As a videographer and photographer, I really feel you. Like, bro, like the arts, we hurting a little bit, but you know, it's making its way back around. I kind of feel like we've seen most of the worst of this thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak that forward so that way to be what it is so we can kind of move on and kind of get back to some sense of normalcy. Like, I know that what once was is not going to be the same thing, you know what I mean, going forward because everything has drastically changed. But that's actually one of the first questions I was going to ask is what was your stance on the Corona life? Like, what's Corona life for Uncle CJ? What's it like?
Man, it's really domesticated, man. It's really domesticated. I'm here. I'm at the house with my family. My family owns this house, and so it's a lot of us here. You know what I'm saying? And it has forced me to slow down. It has forced me to see things for. I was already in that season with losing my father.
Yeah.
But that happened, and that kind of readjusted priorities and readjusted, you know, the things that I thought was important. And I think the COVID has just been a continuation of that. You know what I'm saying? Of being patient. Spending a lot of time with myself. You know what I'm saying? Healing a lot of wounds that beforehand I would kind of distract myself from doing, because there was so much to do, and I'm an artist, and I can do this show and that show and this, that, and the third. So the slowdown has been it's been a blessing for me. You know what I'm saying? And as far as artistically and as far as my inspirations behind doing it, it's just made it go back to a very pure place. Because right now, the capitalistic interest in doing music is little to none. So it's like, you know, whereas before it was always love involved in it, and it's still a thing of like, okay, yeah, I aspire to make a living off of this.
That's right.
But for this time being, it's like it's taking me back to the times when nobody knew who I was, when I wasn't doing those shows, I wasn't doing those videos, and this was just something that I did because I love to do it. And it's reminding me how much I love to do it, because I mean, I haven't been able to put it down in the midst of all of this, you know?
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That actually was going to lead into our next question, because I wanted to ask you, you know, because COVID has affected everyone differently. You know, some people like myself, I found a lot of peace. I've like, you know, discovered myself in a way, you know, as an adult or whatnot. So I had a lot of time to think. But I know during this time, you know, I always was curious to ask, you know, how have people, you know, like you, for example, how have you been able to stay productive during these times?
Just that slowdown, man, and the it's like, as an artist and as an artist, like, okay, there's a difference between an artist and an entertainer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? An entertainer does things to make you dance, to entertain you. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I think artists do things to make you feel. And a lot of times with art, you don't even have to enjoy it. Like, if I put some shit out and it makes you mad, it makes you furious, that means I did my job. You know what I'm saying? I've evoked a feeling. So as an artist, and as an artist that pulls from real life experience, just being able to sit down and tap into, like I said, those places that I've left unsearched with, you know what I'm saying, doing a whole bunch of external things, coming to terms with a lot of that has kept me inspired. Really, it's like, it's this memory bank of experiences that I have. You know what I'm saying? At any given time, I can tap into it to create, but it's like there's so much that's been in the recesses because I've been so focused on creating new experiences and new memories, and, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, that I haven't really tapped into a lot of the things that made my foundation and made my base. And in being able to do that, that's inspired a lot of creativity.
Dang, that was loaded. That was a loaded answer, man. You got to look me out, bro. Okay.
Inspiring for sure.
Extremely inspiring, man.
Yes, sir.
And so I guess my question is, I always knew you as No Sir Foster. That was when we was on campus and everything like that, and then beyond. But I was an outcast, kind of. I was really quiet when I was in school. I wasn't really loud for real until I crossed. Like, I pledged fraternity, so it's like everything changed after that. But it wasn't. My experience with that was different, so I was chill. But why? What led you to change the name? Because you said formerly known as. What made you change it up?
Man, I moved to New York in 2016.
Right, I remember that.
And yeah, it was a transformative experience, man. It was a great experience. I have no regrets about it. But when I was up there, man, it was just weird that people would call me Nosa. Like, in real, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, in real life?
Yeah. I wouldn't be calling no nigga suh. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just regularly. It may have been like 2 or 3 people in New York who asked me what my real name was. And when I got back home, it was just a situation of that caricature of myself, because it was never fake. It was a caricature. It was an exaggeration of certain things that I actually possessed. I just felt like it ran its course. There was nothing else for me to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Artistically, there were so many things, because Nosa was so like, I don't want to say braggadocious, but there was a certain bravado that I created music with. I felt like I couldn't tap into the more vulnerable parts of myself that I wanted to expose as Nosa. Like, I had to reel it back and go back to CJ. You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of these reliving these things have happened because it's kind of like with music, my life was kind of like a BC and AD. You know how they do time BC before Common Era AD.
Yeah.
It was like music was that split.
Okay.
It was like, there was a life that I led up until pursuing music, and then there was a life that I led after pursuing music. And for the past 10 years, I've been those stuff. And a lot of CJ got lost in the midst of doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like I had to get back grounded. I believe Janelle Monáe said, it's either the persona or the person.
Okay.
Only one survived. You know what I'm saying? So that was me killing off the persona that I created to get back to something more real.
Deep.
Yeah.
Deep. Yeah, man. I was wondering if you were in New York because I think it was, what was it? What's the name of it? Gone. I believe that was the track that I was listening to.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of New York vibes because I seen like you walking past like a lot of like graffiti and things like that, and it had like the subway feel to it. I was like, okay, I wonder is he like in Chicago or New York or somewhere up north or something.
Yeah, I was in Detroit, man. My partner, my partner Jay Mills is in Detroit. He lives in Detroit. He's the one that started shooting my videos back in Huntsville. Yeah, that's like the dopest photographer of our generation. He's up there.
And
And even just like that's my homie.
I liked it.
I still look up to him. I don't talk.
He's
I mean,
amazing.
I talk to him every now and then. He's cool. Like he'll actually respond and when he can because he's really busy. But it's like, dude, working with Iman Shumpert. Working with that was crazy. But it made sense though because the guy was just driven. He still is. It's like, and so like me, not to try to make it about myself and my ashy ass elbows. Like, that's how you know I'm clean though. You know I'm clean. I smell good. Okay, but it's like it inspires me to want to stay on my chase for what I feel my destiny is. I'm trying to lay a legacy of stuff like that. And it's like I actually care about the art, and so like a lot of artists that I work with locally, like I'm still in Bama, but I will travel, it's whatever. But it's like they always tell me that I'm different from most people in the way that I shoot my videos. And so like one of my biggest inspirations as a music video director is Hype Williams. And so you already know. And so like a lot of my stuff, I won't say I'm on that level in my head, but as far as the equipment, it's just a different story. But it just depends on how it goes. It depends on the artist. It depends on where their creativity is and how driven they are about their own product. But most of the time, I just like to learn more about the person. And they're like, people usually don't ask me this question. They usually don't tell me that you're not even really, I'm directing them, but I'm not telling them do it this way, because if you do it that way, I'm limiting you on what you can do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, big shout out to Jay Mills for sure.
Yeah, man, the dude's amazing, man. That dude is actually a part during that video, during the Gone video, we was finna get jumped.
What?
Yeah. I wish I could like play and give you a play-by-play, but there was a part. I think I'm standing in front of a red building, and it got graffiti on it that says "Womb." I have my bucket hat on. I had like on a denim jacket, and there's a part of the video. If you pay attention, it's like I signal like "What's up?" while I'm rapping. And the reason why is because they were standing across the street from us, and Mills is like recording. So I'm trying to let him know like, yo, this nigga's behind us. And right before my second verse, like they circled around us. It was like 5 of them. What? And I just started rapping to the top of my lungs at first. Yeah, you pulling it up.
All right, let me see if I can find it.
Man. That's crazy. Yeah, because I just checked that out like literally a few minutes before we got on. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, because I was feeling the vibe and stuff because it was so New York. And then I was like, man, my guy's from Mobile, so I was like, man, he from Mobile all the way doing this thing up, in New York. In this case, it was Detroit. So I was just like, this was up. It just gave me like a whole different type of like, I don't know, it's like one of those northern vibes that you see on like movies and stuff like that. I like the sound.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a fun one. But I really feel like that was a case of, because I think the first line was make the wrong turn on the road that leads to wealth, find yourself lost on the road that leads to hell. spot a demon even when they seeming like they meaning well. Main reason being I done seen them in myself. And when I rapped it, like I screamed it to the top of my lungs. And I feel like it was a situation of like how scripture says your gift will make room for you.
Absolutely.
Like I feel as if I would have been on there like, I fucked your bitch. I got this strap. I got the. We would have got robbed. We would have got for everything that we had if I would have came out there with that type of energy. But when they came around, they heard the shit I was talking about. I instantly saw their energy change up. Oh man, you got it on the screen. Oh snap!
Trying to, yeah, my bad. So y'all can deal with the technical difficulties. We got a little internet stuff going on.
Nah, you cool.
So yeah, man. Like, as we're looking at this, man, kind of walk me through it. Like this
right
is
there. When I up right there.
Yeah.
Go back. Let's freeze frame that bad boy. So right in this shot, right here. Oh, wait a minute.
Yep. You gonna see me say what's up with my other right there. That's when you know that there's niggas behind us across the street. And so every time, like from that point on, when you see me rapping in front of that building, we're surrounded.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's
crazy.
And then the niggas ended up, they was already following him on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, okay.
All for the art, man. All for the art.
Wow. Yeah, this was an amazing video, man. I was feeling it. I was like, I like the backwards motion that you was doing in scenes, and then you was going forward and shit. I was like, oh, okay, this is dope. It's dope.
Was it cold that day?
Yeah, it was cold. It was crazy because there's a scene at the end, and there's a piece of graffiti that says "Happy Birthday, Bud." And I'm dancing in front of it. I actually did that for my father because I missed his birthday. To shoot that video. So that was way before he passed. That was in 2015. But it was still like, hey, right here, yeah. Yeah, it was cold up there.
Yeah.
That's fire.
It's fire.
Yeah, man. Y'all just took me back on that. I don't listen to none of my old shit ever.
Okay, respect.
Like, so,
yeah. But for all of our listeners, man, y'all go check him out on YouTube. But he has a page, No Sir Foster. Again, he goes by Uncle CJ Foster now, but he has a catalog that go 10 years deep on there. All right, because I checked out some of them. Yeah, so be sure.
Yeah,
be sure.
Oh man, yeah, this thing is deep now.
Yeah, to go pull it up. I was like, I gotta go find it. We got the technology. Let's see what this thing talking about. Yeah.
They was gonna beat our ass.
Man, I want to read you this thing. It's from a website called secretstages.net or something like that. But it says No Sir Foster may be considered another socially aware and political conscious rapper / artist, blah blah blah. But it literally says blah blah blah. So I'm not just saying it.
Oh, you cool.
But if you listen closely, you will realize he can only be heard as a modern day prophet who is preaching past the choir. All I can say is amen, hallelujah, and pass the album, please. That's fire, bro.
It's fire.
With you. Like, I don't really know exactly how old this is, but I had to. I mean, I was just. The thing is, we've been messing with you for a minute because in school we were there 2010, 2009, something like that. When we first came across CJ, formerly known as No Sir.
Yeah.
We saw him in a cipher in front of the New School of Business.
Yeah.
It was just cool.
Yeah, it was right there, and it was just like the scene from 8 Mile, bro. It just wasn't nighttime. We walked up, you know what I'm saying? You just see everybody in it, and then I was like, Jay, I was like, you see this shit over here? He's like, man, it's a cipher or some shit, ain't it? He's like, we need to go pull up. This dude, he got the hat on, he got the locks, and he was just like going in, and he was just, I mean, like, I can't really remember exactly what the lyrics were, but it was something about being hung and in the South, and then you had tied it together, but it was like, we come from nothing out the mud or something like that, and about being hung as slaves back in the day, and then you had tied it together. The shit was great. It was a great piece. Like,
yes,
I knew then. I was like, man, that's somebody right there. And so then as his name got around campus, it was easy. I mean, back then it was different. Like we used to have to work harder to find stuff because live mixtapes was like my main source of
That
music.
pill.
That
That
pill,
pill.
we was on that thing, man. YouTube wasn't even popping like it is now. YouTube was a lot different.
We ain't even really. SoundCloud came out in the midst of all of this. SoundCloud wasn't even out when I started.
Nope. That right there,
Nope.
ladies and gentlemen, shows you just how dedicated you have to be. You know what I'm saying? Like before, people talk about our generation and how we're missing pieces on like having a hustle and stuff like that. And I sometimes I agree with that, but then there's also other times where I disagree. It's like, well, nah, we had our own version of the struggle because we were inserted into life when we were inserted. We didn't choose and pick and say, oh, I'm gonna come here in '89. You can come here in '88. You can come here in 87, 86, 85, whatever. It's like, nah, you were chosen to do what you do. But that's the other question I was going to ask you is why do you feel you were chosen to do what you're doing? Why do you feel like you were chosen to be the artist that you are? But beyond that, why do you feel like you where you are currently?
Why was I chosen to be the artist? I don't know. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally just me. It's the shit that makes sense to me. You feel what I'm saying? And that's something that, even though we spoke on like Nosa being a caricature, it was still very authentic to who I was at that time.
Right.
So I just do what makes sense to me, man, and hope that it resonates with people. As far as like where I am right now, a whole bunch of opportunities and consequence. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of times where I feel like I should be way further along than where I am now. There are times where I realize that if I would have got everything that I wanted at 24 years old, I would probably be blacklisted out the industry with like a whole bunch of children in debt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm starting to realize that even the prolonging means something, because I'm not the person that I was when I started this, and I feel like now, for the first time since I started it, I can say I'm comfortable with the fact of, or with the idea of receiving what I wanted. Before, it scared me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of my actions reflected that. But now I'm just at a place of like comfort, and not comfort in like, oh, I don't want any more. I'm in the ideal place in life, because I'm not at all. But I'm in a place of being comfortable with what I've accomplished. I'm in a place of being comfortable with who I am. And that's hard doing music, because it's such a comparative thing.
It is.
It's such a, you know what I'm saying, well, such and such got this going. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I've never said this publicly. When Mick Jenkins blew up, bro, that shit fucked with me. That shit fucked with me heavy. Yeah, because we came up together.
Wow.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like people looking at me like, yo, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga talking with this, that, and the third. He touring the world. But y'all, didn't you beat him in the competition? What you supposed to be doing? You feel what I'm saying? So with rap and hip hop in general, it's so easy to lose yourself in comparisons and compete. And I'm at a place now of so much peace as far as the idea of competing and understanding what's for me is for me.
Facts. And they can't nobody take it from you. Like, often I'm asked as a photographer, videographer. I'm also a boxing trainer and stuff like that. People ask me, how do you feel about such and such business, or why do you feel some kind of way about this person winning in their respective route that they are winning in? And it's like, well, nah, like you said, being honest about it, like, yeah, fuck with you. You be like, damn. But it doesn't mean that you hating. It just means that you just felt it because it happened at that time. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So my answer is usually the same. It's like, I love to see my people win, so I'm good with that. It's just, it'd be kind of weird sometimes to like try to spend time putting energy into that, because the time that I'm putting energy looking at this cat, I'm running a race, I'm looking at him, he getting faster, and I'm still looking at him.
Yeah,
I
sure.
need to be running my own, I gotta do my own thing. So it's like,
and then you gotta think the person that's up ain't thinking about the person that's down either. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever they asking you about ain't necessarily thinking about you. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Why would I have to spend so much time worried about forming an opinion on what they got going? They doing them. Mm-hmm.
Man, as I was listening to music and stuff today on, your catalog on YouTube, I mean, because I had already been familiar with the flow going back to like Tack said about your the days on the ciphers on campus and whatnot. So my curiosity was, where do you pull your musical influence from?
The first and the most evident is Outkast and Dungeon
Okay.
That's the first.
Okay.
Man, like Stankonia was my first rap CD, bro, and I
Yes.
yeah, bro. Yeah, that's how I got to
share
it.
the connection.
Yeah.
Bro, that was okay. I don't mean cut you off, but that
No, it's just that good. It's that good.
It's that good. It's still to this day. Like Deontay Wilder, to this day, it's still bruh. Like, okay. I mean, like gangster shit. That's one of my favorite tracks off the whole thing. And that wasn't even really a hit for mainstream. It was kind of just one of the ones.
It was that deal on the album. See, back in the day, the best songs they wasn't shooting videos for the best songs.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you had to get the album. I feel like an old head saying that shit now. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, you had to get the album.
We all over 30 in this bitch right now, so it's
all
all
grown man talk. That's what's up.
Grown man, yeah.
Like on rep for 30. I'm 31 in here. You feel me? So,
Okay. I just turned 32, my G.
Go crazy with it, bro.
Yes, sir.
Take care of your body. It don't matter how old you are, bro. You just do your thing. So
it's real. That's real. But I was like, bro, I sat with that album, and to this day, if you play Stankonia, bro, I can rap like 90% of it to you.
Stankonia.
Yeah, I used to sit there with the damn booklet and read the lyrics.
Yeah,
until I knew all of the songs. So that's the first one.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just saying I fuck with Outkast heavy, man. My brother, he's 8 years older than I am, and so he was in the era of like Master P in the No Limit area. So, like these were back in the days where you actually had CD books with the actual album cover in there and the CD placeholder. So he had pretty much every album, and he had a lot of Outkast albums, and I was like 8 years old, discovered Outkast, and they got titties and shit on the on the disc and stuff. You know what I mean? Like every album cover had like something like provocative on there. But yeah, the CD. So I always Aquemini always spoke to me heavy because my favorite probably all track from them is Rosa Parks. I really still to this day I fucks with Rosa Parks heavy, and Aquemini is it's just unforgivable because I was just listening to that like 8 years old. Probably shouldn't have been, but again, I was with my brother a lot because he was 8 years older than I am. So yeah, so that's what resonates for me heavy when I think of Outkast is Aquemini. I love Stankonia too though.
Aquemini, look man, I had to backtrack for Aquemini. You know what I'm saying? Like I really got hit to Aquemini during college when I was at A&M. You know what I'm saying? Like we just smoke out the dorm and play Aquemini in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like so Aquemini has this place on my heart too. But just like Stankonia was the first thing that kicked the door open, and it was like at that point they were so experimental they didn't give a fuck. So to be introduced to it like that was like, oh snap, okay. That's what we on. That was a funk album. Aquemini was a funk album that niggas rapped on.
Yep.
And
I think, Stankonia, to us, to everybody like that was fucking with them prior, I think Stankonia, as far as what put them like nationally, like that's when they start getting all kind of audiences that's really start fucking with them from then on. Even though they had been doing this shit like since 88, 89 when they started, when they came out with the album. Yeah.
It was their fourth album,
Yeah. So Stankonia is kind of like, I just remember them winning a whole bunch of fucking Grammys and shit off that album because I know they had the Sorry Miss Jackson, you can pretty much every track on there was a hit,
2000, 2001.
Yeah.
That was like my 7th grade year. And that's the one thing I wanted to speak to, like a little mental health piece. I had battled with depression for like a while, and from time to time, like I still get down, you know, like we all do. But it's like that album, that group, and then like the Dungeon Family and the Atlanta artists, like all those people, but especially like that really spoke to me. It like kept me alive, bro. Like, cause I don't know, man. It was just something about the melodic tones and the real use of instrumentation throughout the process of them producing the tracks. And they have like real producers. Like you can tell when people was together when they made something versus you know, you know what I'm saying?
Back then, bro, niggas couldn't even do that like that though. You feel me?
They didn't have an
That's
option.
another internet thing.
Yeah, they be like, I'll be in Atlanta tomorrow. We'll do such and such and such. Okay, you know. And now Negroes have gotten so, you know, tied up into like technology, like, you know, with the whole, you know, us doing the video this way, it's like, it's cool. But if it's up to me, you know, I like to set the shot. I like to, you know, feel the vibe out. You know, we might have some music playing, some water on the table, whatever y'all want to do. You know, lemons around, because I fuck with lemons heavy. That's why it's Lemon Water Chronicles podcast. But I like lemon water though. That shit changed my life. That's like the backstory behind this whole podcast. There's more to it, but no, like for real. Yeah, it tapping back into that. 7th grade was a really rough grade for me, and like as a little black boy, you know, I was like overweight. I was a class clown, but I was a class clown because I was failing in class. I was failing in class because I didn't feel like my teachers was invested in me. I think they weren't invested in me because most of them were white. That's not a knock at white people saying that they're, you know, unworthy of being good people, because every person is capable of being a righteous person. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you've been taught to hate, you can still unlearn that. And then shout out to Derek Grace 2. I don't know if y'all know who that is. Derek Grace 2, Unlearn and Relearn. He's like a kind of like pretty much like the hood guru behind like getting your taxes together and all that type of stuff. He just has a very colorful way of doing it, you know, tats on his face, all that stuff. And I'm drawn to stuff like that because of the art in general, tattoos, all of that. But yeah, man, it was a rough year. And I feel like I almost, like, my mom and I was sitting at Captain D's or something like that. And then it was like the first time I'd ever told her out my mouth, I don't feel like living no more. I'm probably going to take myself out. I'm in 7th grade saying this, bro. I'm 12 or 13 or 11 or something like that. And it's like, you know, my mom to this day, she still says, I remember what you said to me at Captain D's, you know, to see you where you are now versus then, it's just a blessing that, you know, you continue to, you know, throttle forward and stuff like that, like everybody. So that album is really special to me. It always will be. Like a lot of it then, Jay and I were conversing the other day talking about how things before don't hit the same way. They hit differently now that you are, you know, an adult, you know, like you grew, and you know what I'm saying? Like that, it definitely is different. So I think like the saddest, the most, it was a fire beat. One of the most saddest songs off of that album to me was Toilet Tissue.
I knew you was gonna say it, bro. I was waiting for somebody to bring it up. I knew you was gonna say it, bro.
Yeah. Bro, it was so sad, bro.
Yeah.
And it was like, to me, it was kind of like, it was low key like creepy as a kid listening to that. But it's the reality of mental health, lack of communication in the family, and lack of understanding. Because you know the backstory behind it a little bit.
Nah. It was a real story. It really happened.
Yeah, apparently it was somebody that they knew, like in their neighborhood or something, and she got pregnant at a young age, but she didn't know how to tell her parents or whatever, and so she had like tried to take a clothes hanger and, you know, do the thing, and then that ended up rupturing something, and she ended up dying from it, apparently.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Go back and listen to that joint, bro.
Yeah,
I remember being young and it giving me the chills. But like Outkast, I think Outkast is a master of that. Like,
yes,
they have so many songs and so many lines and verses that was like, they just sounded good or it was appealing.
That's right.
as a child. But then when you grow up and you listen to it, it's like, oh damn, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Or like for me, I'd have to live through certain things. It's so many fucking Andre lines that came in my head after, like, right during an experience. Like I'm experiencing something for the first time, and it's like, oh damn, that's what he meant by that. Okay, it makes sense now. Now I don't just like the song, I've lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Y'all got me wanting to go back and listen to Stankonia like right when we get done with this, because I haven't listened to it in it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I listened to that album.
It's a truth, man.
Yeah.
It says, have you heard the news today? They say a little 14-year-old girl had a baby on the way. Too much for her little mind to bear. And that type of news to her mama she cannot spare. And so, you know what I'm saying? And then like toilet tissue, damn, we miss you. Toilet tissue is the issue. See what I'm saying? Like, and it like, but I mean, even my little 7th grade mind could put together that it was a situation that somebody else couldn't handle something either. And so it was one of those tracks that scared the shit out of me, but at the same time, it made me think. And it made me like process, like, the fuck are they talking about? And so I might have processed that shit for a whole nother year. Guess what? I stayed alive for a whole nother year just by
processing it. Yeah.
And then like even now, I mean, now I pretty much I ain't gonna say I've mastered it, but full out, I kind of know more. So, I mean, I know a lot about a lot. Like I done been through like hella shit. You know, like 3 people dying on me. Granddaddy, my uncle and my other granddaddy dying on me in a 2.5 month span, like the year before I graduated college. And those were like my father, like, well, my granddaddy was pretty much my dad. And then my uncle was kind of like, he was like a true uncle. He was cool, but sometimes he was an asshole. But he was still a good dude, you know what I'm saying? And so like losing them 2 cats that close together at that time really did something to me. That was 2012, 13. So Grenadi's like in November, and then Uncle D was in like January or something like that, March. But it was close. And so those types of things like shape you, like they shape the way that you continue to move forward. Because that whole year I started experiencing a whole bunch of weird shit internally. Like it's this thing, well, I found it's called like depersonalization disorder or something like that, where it's like you feel like you are watching yourself do things, like on the like you ever heard of astroplaning, like going to the next It kind of felt like that, but as a youngin', like I'm like 22, 23, it was weird then, because I was like, the hell is this? Like, you know, I'm trying to figure it out, and it felt like everything I'm doing, I wasn't really doing it. Everything, like I wasn't really here type shit. Like I was asleep somewhere else, and I was trying to find my body, like trying to find myself, like where am I at? You know what I'm saying? But I had to change a lot of things about the way I was living, the way I was treating myself, people around me, food I was eating. That's like where the process for me, like transitioning out of certain foods and stuff like that, it all changed. So I mean, yeah, man, I could talk about that album for a whole episode, bro, honestly.
Heavy.
Yeah.
It's so heavy.
Heavy.
I love it, man. I love that album.
So the CJ, man, I always been curious, you know, as far as like artists goes. Like with me, I've never really been as far as like musically, and you know, as far as like an artist or whatnot. But of course, I enjoy music.
Right.
So, like when you listening to a track, and you know, with you being an artist, do you prefer a track with features or a track without features? Like, as an artist, like what do you gauge from that? What do you look for in that? Like, do you want the person to like match you, or you know, is it kind of like a competition? Like, how is it like with having features versus no features on an album or track rather? My bad.
I feel like, you know, there's certain experiences that if I'm talking about my life, I'm the only person that can speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't make no sense to have somebody else talk. I mean, you know what I'm saying, and share it because it's so personalized. As far as features nowadays, and I've always like, I want my features to outshine me. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's if you think of all the realest ones, they do that.
Yeah.
Like you think of fucking Money Trees. You know, Kendrick alley-oop that to J-Rock. Kendrick wasn't rapping his hardest. You know what I'm saying? He had kind of like a set flow. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. It was catchy, but it wasn't like him going hard. He alley-ooped it to J-Rock. For J-Rock to kind of like, if you hear me on a song with somebody or somebody's on my song, by the time you get done with that song, once you look them up, because you already listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? So look them up now. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I like about like Tidal and Apple Music. Well, more Tidal than Apple Music. I like Tidal and YouTube Premium. Those two. That's a free plug for YouTube. That's a free plug.
Hey, nah, you don't need to do free plug and shit for them. They need to go ahead and get that bag up.
Man, what? If y'all listening right now, hey, you know, you can sponsor us. You can sponsor us for this child. 10 cents. But no, for real though, like I like how they have the way that their app is laid out. You can, like, let's say we look for you, we find CJ on there, and then it'll have artists similar to, and then it'll have a whole nother list of artists where it'll say influences, and then underneath that it'll have like credits, and then in the credits it'll have like producers, soundboard engineer, all that type of stuff, and you can click these people and it'll take you to other stuff that they've done, and you can learn so much about the artists, and then you can learn about the people that it took to make the shit.
And you see, I think that's a really important thing, man, because there's a lot of cats, myself included. When I first started off, man, I didn't know how many people it took to make a song.
Yeah.
How many people it took to make an album. Like, I'll be trying to do so much shit by myself. You know, I produce, so I'm producing these joints, I'm writing the full songs, I'm this, that, and third, I'm trying to mix. And it's like, nah, man, the best pieces of music have more than one mind on it.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a group of people without ego committed to creating the best work as possible. So I think it's about time that the veil get lifted on the fact, and it not be a dirty thing, or it not be no stigma behind the fact that your favorite song got 30 writers on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a big thing. Oh, Ghostwriter, 2012, was it like Drake and Meek Mill? That's kind of where it started.
Yeah.
Kind of like went in on it, and I was like, I mean, when you think about film, you know how many people it take to make a commercial? Just a commercial. Like, I shot one, it was only 4 of us, granted, but we worked that well. And out of the 4 of us, each person was doing the work of 3 people. So, you know what I'm saying? That's
a commercial.
Yeah, that's just a commercial. That's 30 seconds.
You know, imagine an album.
Imagine a film.
Yeah.
It'd probably be taking like whole years for people. Like, the shit that come out in 2020 was shot mostly 2018, 2019. Like, it was a culmination. One film I'll pitch out there is me and Jay's, one of our favorites is Interstellar.
I love the movie, by the way. For sure.
Fucks with it. Yeah.
Tell AJ, tell him how long it took dude to make the film.
Man, he was working on Interstellar. I think he was working on Interstellar for like 10 years. The time that he was doing Christopher Nolan, who, you know, you've probably seen majority of his movies, he did, I think at the time that he was filming Inception or whatnot, Interstellar was kind of like, he was working on that at the same time. And I think the new movie that he got called out, that's like Tenet, that's getting ready to drop here in the next couple of weeks, he was filming that. He was like working on that too for like the last 20 years. So he's like, man, it's just like a lot of stuff that he's been like working on and had ideas for, like, you know, day back before he was on. So yeah.
Man, it's a long haul, man. It's a long game. Always play the long game, man. Like, it makes me so happy to see people like get their plans out. And to be able to see that they had a plan the whole time. I love seeing artists like progress, like somebody like Kanye. People give Kanye a lot of shit, but Kanye is doing everything he said he was gonna do.
Yeah.
If you're a real Kanye fan, you really paid attention to what the type of shit he was talking about. He's doing everything he said he was gonna do. You look at cats like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is right now, if you listen to A Reasonable Doubt, you can't tell me that that's not the same person. You know what I'm saying? That's the nigga who got the bag. You feel what I'm saying? You see the you see the progression from who they were and where they started at, and so what they was able to accomplish. And I love seeing that through artists.
It's almost like they were like setting it forward for themselves. Like when we talk about speaking affirmations and speaking things over your life, me and Jay talk about this shit all the time. Like we talk about we plant seeds for this podcast. Like we knew back in 2000, and we met. The backstory on us is we met in ninth grade English, getting in trouble, doing crazy shit. Mostly me than him, and he would always get away with it. My ass would get caught up. I was always like fat and slow, so that's the reason why I ain't fat no more. Though I'm up now. So but yeah, man, like we knew back in like 2008, 7, somewhere in there. I was like, man, we should just start doing something like some kind of. We couldn't really put our hands on it, but we would always get together, drink, do whatever, and just like put ideas together for show concepts and stuff. But we never really like recorded it or found some kind of way to turn it into media. And so then we did. Once upon a time, we did record our first episode that will never be found. It was on a laptop, and we shot it out on a laptop in the car, but we couldn't. Our dumbasses couldn't figure out how to save it. And we lost it because the computer ended up crashing or something like that. So that's like a lost file that will never be revealed to the world. But it's kind of like, but it's kind of cool though, because like how the artists of the past tell stories about how they would meet people. Similar to how like they had the Rick James episodes from Dave Chappelle show, telling the stories, and then they would reenact it. So it's like in your mind, you can put it together. You create your own picture for it. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. For sure. And this is kind of like a weird segue, but I just got to know, where were you when you first discovered your love for hip hop, for music? I don't want to limit it to just hip hop, because I know you probably listen to a plethora of things, but where were you when you first had that? Where were you?
I don't know where I was. I can tell you it was Jay-Z Hard Knock Life video.
Respect.
When I first saw Hard Knock Life, like that was the song that made me, like that was the first song I memorized. That was the first song I learned. And that was the first video that I run to the TV to see. So around that time, I think that's when it got planted.
Okay.
Yeah. The Andy sample was so hard.
Oh yeah, it's still fire. Like we used to have beat in our cars, and we don't have it. I mean, I'm about to get it back though. Slick, I'm about to use my credit card or something. But facts, that's the only way it's gonna happen at this point. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like those drops and like the 808s and the way they're just, bruh, like that song still gives me chills, because 98, that year alone was just a year full of so much media before it was media. It's kind of like it was still art then. Everything was still raw. Like you still had to like cut and paste and take things to edit them, splice together. Now everything is more digital. Things were kind of sort of digital then, you know, it was the beginning stages. But when you look at the video and just the shot concepts and like how the story is being told, shot per shot, bro. Like now, you know, folks be like at their house or something, and they like they want you to. It's kind of like what I'm saying now about how we had a show before it was a show, but they're doing that on camera now. So it's like they want you to do it twice. Yeah. It's like, listen to me singing what I'm singing, but picture what I'm telling you about. It's like, I got 6 bad bitches. I'm like, where they at? Because this is a video. Like, where they at? Like, I want to see them. I want to see some ass.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, man. I'm really tired of rappers who don't get no cheeks talking about bad bitches, bro. I'm tired of it. You know what I'm saying? We can see how you live when you ain't getting no bad bitches, bro. Just stop, bro. Because you complicating the shit for these young niggas. They feel like they can be bummy and be, you know what I'm saying, whatever. They don't get bad bitches because you bummy and you got bad. Nah, bro, like keep it honest, dog. You got some mid. You got like, you know, you got some threes on your team. You know what I'm saying? And just be honest about that. Be honest about that.
Yeah,
you know
cool with
it. Make everybody, you know, that's your life, bro.
Feel good. That's all. That's what it's about. Like, if they make you feel like the rapper that you are, There's no reason to lie about it.
You know how many niggas could relate to a nigga saying I fuck threes and fours?
Everybody.
That's
Right.
a lot of niggas will be like, you know what, hey, bro, you know I ain't ashamed of it no more. You feel what I'm saying? So maybe they can get a lot more people comfortable being themselves. But I'm tired of these. I got bad bitches, and like you said in the videos, a whole bunch of niggas with their shirts off. I don't like that, man. I don't like that. We got to change it,
bro. Like, I mean, you know, I ain't hating on what you do. Everybody do what they want to do with their whole sexual orientation and all that. I usually don't even like to get into it, but it's like, just do what you do, bro. But it's like, it does look pretty weird.
Pretty gay. Yeah. That's the thing I can say, and this is off topic. But this is something of like growing up hip hop, and growing up and growing into manhood and being a fan of hip hop. Is I realize how many homoerotic undertones are in a lot of shit that these niggas are saying, and it's like
now more than ever though.
It's horrible now. Like, nigga, I don't want the pussy, I just want the head. Putting that bitch. I don't love that bitch, I love my niggas. Like, yo, come on, man. Like
yeah, right. That's kind of. So my thing is, that's your way of telling us that you're on the down low. Okay. So my thing is, just say that. Like, I mean, I understand though. Okay, with that whole thing, like, I got like gay friends and family members and all that shit. So like, it's harder. I know it's obviously harder for them to try to come out because people might have put them in a position where they thought they was gonna get killed or abused.
Right.
And so that's very real. Like, I mean, you know, even with the trans community as well, they experiencing it way more. Well, it's written in what I'm reading every day. It's all over everything. But these people have been wanting to be who they are their whole lives. So it's like, and now they have a safe space for the most part to do that. But, you know, even that, it still be scary. So it's like, I get it. It still kind of be a little annoying though, like as a person who I'm not, you know, gay or anything like that. But it's like, I understand where you're coming from when you want to say something, but you feel like you can't because.
But see, the women have to pay for that though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, you know what I'm saying, because you hate women.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And instead of it just being like, okay, you know, I love men, it's a hatred for women, and it influences and inspires the generation behind them because, you know, without context, man, young niggas think these niggas is the truth. You know, that's the man. That's this, that, and the third. So now you got a whole generation looking up to you and following your actions, and you don't love women.
Yeah.
And their whole view of women is being based upon a nigga who don't love women. You love dudes.
But they might secretly love women though, but they're selling it as such. Like, it's like the wool being pulled over people's eyes and shit.
That's true. That's true too. Even that, I mean, that's wrong too, because it just gets to a point now, you know, and not to get too deep, but it's like the family structure is suffering because of these influences. So whatever it is a nigga got going on, just be real about it, because folks is out here really trying to live out these raps and, you know, really treating women this, that, and the third, you know, and just having fucked up opinions towards it. And it's like, bro, if you was 100, people wouldn't look at you for advice on this. People wouldn't look at you for guidance on this, which is fine. Then it would just be expression.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But because you're not being honest with yourself and you're not being honest with the people around you, you're creating a culture to where it's okay to treat women this type of way. And I got sisters. I grew up around women my whole life. My niece is 10 years old. I look at her every day. She's pretty. She's going to be a pretty, you know what I'm saying, young woman, and just thinking about the shit she got to deal with these young niggas and the type of shit they listening to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it.
I had a guy that asked, it was on a show, but I actually kind of adopted the same moniker, not a moniker, but the same shit. And I was like, I asked somebody, what's your diet consist of? Because they was talking about how they felt bad all the time, feet hurt, overweight, I ain't shit. And so I was like, well, what's your diet mostly consist of? Well, you know, I eat like a chicken, a pizza, you know, every now. I'm like, nah, what's your diet consist of?
All of that shit's your diet. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you, entertainment in your mind?
All that shit down. I was like, what's, you know, I be, you know, World Star. I like World Star. I'm like, okay, check.
That's why you feel bad. Yeah.
All right, that's that type of colorism shit. That's that Willie Lynch shit. Like, I mean, put this one against this one, and then they'll fight, and then you still control the masses. Put the Bible in their hand and tell them that they should be calm and not get upset about shit. And you know what I'm saying? You can't have. You see what I'm going with? Them is layman's. I'm being real layman's with it, but I'm not afraid to talk about that because that's definitely an issue. You can see that shit on Instagram, all these platforms. It's like colorism every fucking day. And so like I got like, you know, little young bulls and stuff, and when they talk about shit, it's harder for them to communicate how they feel and stuff because they're so caught up in a fucking screen that's telling them who they should be.
And what they should feel, what not to feel.
Like
I had to talk to a woman friend of mine, man, because I consider myself to be somewhat emotionally mature.
Okay.
I have an emotional maturity about myself. Yeah, and so I talk to a lot of women about, you know, just a lot of men and women issues, and they may talk to me about their boyfriends or they love life or whatever. And one of the things that I had to let one of my friends know is that, you know, when dealing with men and our emotions, like we grow up our whole life being told it's not okay to feel.
Right.
Anything past anger or aggression.
Don't cry.
Most Black men don't come into emotional maturity until they hurt somebody.
Absolutely.
Until they hurt somebody they really care about. They realize that them being numb and being emotionally immature and not being able to, you know what I'm saying, communicate those emotions until they fuck up and really hurt somebody. That's the only time that we start processing feelings. Up until that point, you know what I'm saying, we're it's cool to be emotionless. You know, at least when I was coming up.
That's
I think it's a little bit more open now, but definitely when I was coming up, there was no spectrum of hues for emotion. Not a healthy one.
And see that, and I think the powers that be, going back to the musical, any industry, they play off of that, and they utilize that to continue. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, to continue to control the masses, and that's why people like me, you, and Jay that say different than that. It's like, you know, well, nah, you should get in touch with yourself. You should go outside. You should ground yourself. You should pray if you can. If you gotta cry, let this shit out. Those things are definitely, they're necessary. Endorphins that need to be released, because when you hold that shit in, you will eventually implode. So
that's how people become toxic. I know that's a cool term to use now, but that's where the toxicity comes from.
So we kind of got real deep there. We gonna try to do our best to stay deep. But we had like a couple more questions. A big one is what is an all-time dream collaboration for you?
Oh, yes. I want to know this.
So is it like living a deceased?
There are no limits.
No limits. No limits.
I would love to work with Questlove.
Ooh, that's my favorite drummer. All right,
yeah,
I
really love to
I know it goes deeper than drumming, but that's my guy. That's like my guy, bro. That's my guy.
Yeah, I would just love for him to produce my shit, man. Like to just piece the shit together, man. I think that it'd be so dope.
Yes.
I would love to work with who else, man? Of course, Outkast. You know, of course. That'd be great. Kanye.
Yeah.
I like to do some shit with Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie
Gibbs, it's a lot of cats that I think would just be a blessing to be able to have that experience with.
Okay.
Those are some of the few.
Out of your artists, I know this is a really tough question. Who are your top 3 artists of all time? Now, I know that's hard. I know that's a loaded question, but if I had to, because I mean, if I gave you 10 and you'd be like, all right, here we go, 10. But 3, I think it kind of narrows it down to
Kanye West.
Ooh, okay, kind of easy.
Yay.
Curtis Mayfield.
Oh,
yeah,
taking it back.
Curtis Mayfield and Gil Skyheron.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And why Why the last one?
Because I mean, that was that. He fathered rap in a lot of ways. At least the rap that I do. You know what I'm saying? The idea of putting something poetic over a beat. He was just a really big influence. And when I started being more open to including my poetic influences, like, and putting it to music, because I kept it separate for a real long time. It was like, okay, I do poetry and I do rap. When I started merging them into one, he was a big influence behind that for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's extremely heavy, bro. All this stuff is just like, I can't
Hello.
carry. Shit is so heavy, like killing me, bro. Like metaphorically, but I mean, this is and folks, this is like the epitome of what it was like. What y'all are just getting a small taste of what it was like for Jay and I, as young ass college students, to experience this dude doing his thing on campus. Like, he was fucking amazing, bro. Like, and then the thing is, he wasn't doing a lot. Like, as far as he just I don't know. He know how to work a room. And then when you go look at his performances, he say he don't watch his old shit. Well, he ain't got to. We go watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, this dude will work a room, bro. And then when you look at the crowd, they're into it. Like, you can tell that they're connected to what's going on. It's not like some plus shit where you just, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna go up here and do my little performance real quick. Like, in my opinion, how most of the artists of today do, you know what I'm saying? They kind of focus on, I guess, nicety, that's not really a word, but they focus on materialistic things, and they get caught up in that. Like, it actually becomes so for them, but they have no substance. It's like they're not really talking about anything. It's like, oh, okay, I fuck your bitch. Everybody's fucking everybody's else's girl. I'm like, so you ain't got a wife?
I'm hoping niggas get checked with all that cross fucking they got going on right now, man. Niggas need to
make sure, bro. This ain't the time. This ain't the time, man. You need to put your Jana up. Get playing, bro. Like, for real.
Thank you, man. Thank you. The thing is, man, it's crazy because I have this theory that as a creative, I'm in love with creating. I let everybody else be in love with the product, with the end result. You know what I'm saying? My love comes in the inspiration and pulling from the inspiration. Once it's done, it's just like, you know, everybody else enjoy it, but I'm on to the next. It's a blessing and a curse because it makes me forget a lot of shit that I've done.
Why do you feel like it's bad to forget some things that you've done?
Because there's been times when my confidence has been extremely low.
Yeah.
And it would take somebody else telling me, like, bro, what you mean? Like, yo, you did this, that, and the third, woo-de-woo-de-woo. And I'm like, oh, damn, I did do that. Like, I'll look at my old shit when I'm in one of those phases of life of, like, I'm just feeling really low. I feel like I haven't done enough. This, that, and the third. I'll go back and look at my old shit. Like, oh, no, you've been working, bro. But for the most part, you know, it's been done. And the fun for me was creating it and to see the reaction from people. You know what I'm saying? Now it's for everybody else to live with.
Mm-hmm. Real talk. So what's next for you from here?
Like I said, man, I put out his song Grew Wings. I'm gonna put together an actual campaign to push that. I've been working on a lot of music. I started a group in 2018, Basshead Jazz.
Okay.
And yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Odie James and Sydney Vidal, they're down here as well. We've been doing a lot, working on some stuff to release from them, from us, and doing a lot of the artistic work behind shit now. Like I said, doing a lot of producing, doing a lot of the artwork. I made more money in the past couple of days with this artwork than fucking 5,000 streams on Spotify. So just diversifying the creativity and being able to help other artists as well.
I like that Da Vinci light, you know, jack of all trades. Yeah, I feel that. Fucks with that.
You gotta diversify, man.
Yeah, man.
You gotta diversify your bonds.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, I actually enjoy going back to your catalog on YouTube. I listened to it was a clip clip of you in the cipher, the resonator cipher.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah. That was man, guys. If y'all enjoy like cipher type, definitely check that out. It's about a minute or so.
What's
Pure
it called?
speed.
What's it called, Jay, for the people so they can find it on YouTube?
Resonator cipher. Were you in like a basement or something like down there? Cause
Oh man, it was a studio in Brooklyn, and it's the studio that D'Angelo recorded. He either recorded Voodoo or Brown Sugar in the studio. Real nice studio, bro. They just had like a little performance area in the studio, and they had us come in and do the cipher. It was one of the dopest nights that I had, though. I loved that night. That night was so fucking crazy.
So I gotta know, you said what was the energy like in there?
It was just real lively. It was real fluid. It was real, you know what I'm saying, moving. In New York, it was always like, I'll be honest with you, there was always a tinge of jealousy.
Okay.
Because it was like, who is this nigga from Alabama? You know what I'm saying? And why is he so? But I used to feed off of that, to be completely honest. I used to love it. Like, oh, you feel some type of way. Let me turn up then. You really gonna feel some way when you leave.
It's like being a visiting team when you playing in the finals.
Exactly.
LeBron in 2016, bro. So, 3 down, 3-1. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Come here to do work. We here to do work. But it was a dope vibe, bro. It was the vibe of anything. Like, the art is alive in New York. It's living. Like, it's a living entity. You know what I'm saying? So anything that had to do with arts up there, it was an incredible experience, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah. That's real. Well, so we gonna make a downshift. So we was up for a while. It was really heavy stuff we talking about. I feel like ahead of time, I'm gonna go ahead and prematurely say this. We gotta have you back on the show again.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Absolutely.
We got more stuff we need to get into, but I understand everybody. We got time limits and stuff like that. So we got a section of the show, 2 little small sections. This first part is called This or That. This or That. No one knows the answer but me.
Okay.
But I really don't know the answer either. So here we go. Shower or bath?
Most of the time, shower. If it's a bath, I gotta be in a place to really, really enjoy it.
He's like, right. He's like, I gotta be tranquil.
Yeah. I can't have nothing planned for the next. However, I gotta really be in it.
For sure. What about you, Jay?
Oh, shower all day, man. Tubs are like CJ said, Uncle CJ, man. It's gotta be, for me to take a bath. It's gotta be a deep ass like tub. I gotta be able to stretch my legs out. I mean, I'm not the tallest nigga, but I'm at least above average as far as height. When you can, stack me up against, everybody else, I'm about 6'1". So regular standard bathtubs, I'm having to bend down and shit. Like, nah, man. Nah, so shower me all day, bro.
Okay. And I guess I'll say the same. I'm a shower kind of guy. Same situation. If the bathtub is like below, if it's subpar, it ain't happening. So I gotta have me some space off of that thing, and I got the music, I got the incense, got my sage burning, got some Palo Santo. You know what I'm saying? I need all that. I need it all.
Hey, Tag, let me take this one, Tag. I just got one. I got one.
Go.
Goku or Vegeta?
Ah, damn. Damn. That's a loaded question.
I gotta go with Goku.
Goku?
I gotta go with Goku. And the reason why I go with Goku, I was actually there's a I can't remember the YouTube channel, but they was like breaking down certain animes, and they were talking about storytelling, like forms of storytelling. And the reason I'm going with Goku is because Goku is a flat character arc. Vegeta is like a progressive character arc, a positive character arc, which is powerful in itself. He goes from being a villain to a hero. He goes from being a villain to an anti-hero to a hero, and that's a dope journey to go through. But Goku, because he's a flat character arc, he stays the same, and everything around him changes because he stays the same. He forces every character around him to reevaluate who they are and where they stand at, all because he does it. And so that's why I go with Goku.
I fucks with that.
Yeah,
I fucks with that.
bro. You read books, don't you?
Yeah, I'm you know, hey.
Hey,
A little
okay.
something.
So that's the next question. I mean, that's actually, we're gonna get back into this or that. I had a question, man. When you say character, you saying character art or
Arc.
arc?
Yeah.
Explain that, because for the listeners that may not watch this video, explain what that means.
Like a character arc is like it's kind of like how when people talking about the curve with coronavirus.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch it, you see it's, you know what I'm saying, you see the arc. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Lows, peaks, and valleys.
And that's how a character develops. You know what I'm saying? So for Vegeta's arc started down here because he started off as a bad guy, a negative character.
Yeah. Everybody.
And as time went on, it went up. Goku's has just been this, and everything around him. He's the measurement for everything else.
Okay. What's in
Man, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say Vegeta was one of those cats, man. Like, you know, you find yourself kind of rooting for the villain at sometimes, you know, because you know Goku was just so damn gullible at times, you know, and like, you know, he let people hang around longer than they should have, and but Vegeta, man, you know, all talk, you know, straight business, no talk, you know, he was about that. My personal favorite is Trunks. I always fuck with Trunks, Future Trunks. The Cell era, the androids, that's like my all-time favorite era. I fucks with Gohan too, you know. But yeah, I always found myself having like a spot for Vegeta because you explained it beautifully, because his arc was just, you know, undeniable in that show. You know, you started off as like the arc enemy until it turned into like, you know, someone that's ended up being on their side at the end, you know, and then, you know, the kids growing up and they took over. So it's just a beautiful thing to watch, man. I fucks with Dragon Ball Z. I used to watch this shit heavy every day. Next episode of Dragon Ball Z, you know.
Lead me to a next question in this and that. Yeah. Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and why?
It's different shit for different reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dragon Ball Z, as far as like the action and the shit that we was into as like young boys, of course Dragon Ball Z trumps it out. You know what I'm saying? It got way more action, way more explosions, way more superpowers. But the story from Dragon Ball to me is strong.
Yeah, you can tell it's more of it's a long build to it.
Yeah.
Like trying to think of a good movie as an example to match with that. We can use The Dark Knight, because it was like an extremely long. You can use that the series. Like, I mean, the first one was Batman Begins, and then The Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises. So like the entire build, but each film had that same feel as if you were watching a totally different film that kind of sort of wasn't connected to the one previous, but it was obviously that's what it is, but it felt like something else. And then I guess
Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, I'm ready.
No, I was just saying I feel exactly perfectly what you were saying, because you can full-fledged just start Dragon Ball Z, still pick up and kind of understand what's going on. You don't have to watch Dragon Ball as a precursor. I mean, yeah, you can see Goku as a kid, and then he has the little raccoon tail, a lion tail, whatever the hell, he had some type of tail, whatever it was, you know, and you know, you saw Master Roshi, and then I think Piccolo was actually a villain at that point. You know, you saw pretty much the backstory of Goku
on the show, and he was green.
Yeah. And then, but you know, you can start Dragon Ball Z and still catch on. You know, it's so many. The characters are more memorable, and then you know you have all of the memorable eras like Majin Buu and the androids, the cells, Skinny Buu, Frieza, hell yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing the most, but I'm gonna step outside of out of this and that. Who was y'all's favorite super villain?
In Dragon Ball or just period?
Just period.
Magneto.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah, Magneto for sure.
I take myself out the shot on that one. If it'll let me take me out.
Oh man, that's tough.
Wait, I'm gone. Wait, I'm gone now.
There you go. You out the shot.
Oh man.
So that's what's up. What about you, Jay?
Man, that's a tough one, man, because I'm sitting here thinking about all of the villains of like basically all the movies that I've watched, and you know, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I always not necessarily, you know, Black Panther that just came out, but the Black Panther as in the story, the comic book. I always fought with Killmonger, not necessarily his depiction in the movie, but just his character as well, because you know they kind of downplayed him in the movie, but he was Black Panther's equal, intellectually powerful. Like he was his equal. He wasn't his cousin or anything like that. How they kind of had to tie that into the movie, which was fine. But as far as like the arc, he was just this is a guy that pretty much like came up with a new identity, called himself Eric Killmonger, went to MIT. You know, he had his own agenda and eventually took over the throne. You know, he beat the shit out of Black Panther. I mean, they depicted it on the movie, but he beat the shit out of him in the comic books, and and he was Black Panther for a good minute. And so I always like Killmonger because I was very excited when they decided to make him in the MCU in the Marvel universe, but it's just so much to him that they couldn't really like go into. I mean, he had dreads and shit, like like
you can't do all that in an hour, 3 hours. So I mean, there's no way you could cover it. You gotta
right.
Another, yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. I think mine, I'm gonna keep it simple but complex. Mine is actually Bane from Dark Knight Rises. I'm fucking with him just for the mere fact that just how I'm into like martial arts and stuff like that, and then like his movements. Like I'm simple. Like I really like the fact that he really got into that role. Jay, what's his name? I know you know
it. Tom Hardy.
Yes. And then like Jay is like a walking Wikipedia app, bro. Like he just fucking knows. Like I'm like, what's 2 + 2? He's like 4. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's he just fucking knows, bro. I'm just like, damn, how you know all these damn? And then back in the day, I'd be like, it's the girl from that show we used to watch. He'd be like, oh yes, Christian Weatherford. Like he was so yeah, I go with Bane, and then like his monologues from the movie, from the film, and talking about being like when Batman was trying to utilize the darkness to.
Yeah, I was born in it.
Yeah. I didn't see the light.
I was a man.
And by then it was blinding. Yeah. That shit was hard.
Fuck with that line. I fuck with that so heavy because I feel like as Black men, that's kind of like what it is for us for a while. Like we don't really get to see the light. And so I feel like in his particular character in that film was speaking for damn near every every not nationality, minority that does that. America does what they do. Like they try to regulate everything, they try to cap everything, and they try to pick it and they try to recreate it and sell it to you. And it says it's the same thing, but it's, we know the difference between spring water and fucking tap water. Like you can taste it. You can taste the water because it's living. You know what I'm saying? Versus some shit that's in a factory somewhere and they just put a label on it. And so he really spoke to me with that role. Because I mean, initially the action was off the chain in the film. Very well written, produced. Well, that's what we expected. But all his monologues really spoke to me, woke me up. And then even now, going back and watching that as an older version of myself, it means more. So,
I respect that.
Oh, yeah. So, all right, I'm going to get back into this or that. I'm trying to get y'all up out of here. All right, down south or up north?
Once again, man, I love them for different reasons. I love them for different reasons. Like, of course, I'm around with the South because I'm raised down here for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just two different and equally impressive energies.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Down south, there's a wisdom down here that isn't readily available in big cities. But when I moved to New York, I remember the first week of me living there, I met more people from different countries than I had ever met in my whole time in Alabama. Like in the first week. You know what I'm saying? Like I meet people from Germany and Nigeria and Ghana and Israel and Kenya. Like it would really surprise me how many people I would meet and I'd be like, "Where you from?" They say a different country. So I love the melting pot aspect of New York and up north. But as far as like morals and values and things to stand on, down south all day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree. I had a similar experience. The big, I mean, I travel a lot, so I get my city experience from my travels mostly. But I mean, living in Huntsville, Alabama, and then I'm also by way of a small town called Scottsboro, Alabama. Scottsboro is, you probably heard of that. Yeah, and so it's like 40 minutes, 30 minutes from Huntsville. I was there K-4. And that was like my country experience. But I mean, I've been out in the country in the boonies and stuff like that too. So it's like going fishing, running in the fields, playing. We used to call it Smear the Queer. So that's what it was called back then. Y'all don't trip. It ain't like we trying to come for nobody or nothing.
Please don't cancel us.
Please don't. You can't because it's my show. No, I'm just playing. All right. So, but that was a difference between a city-like experience and a country experience or down home, whatever, So it's good to have the versatility of those because you can virtually fit in anywhere. Whenever you go to a big city, it's like, okay, yeah, you can appreciate the architecture, you can appreciate the living art, like you say. Just the smells.
I did appreciate the smells in New York. I'm gonna keep it all the way above. Yeah, that shit was nasty as fuck. Yeah, I love New York, but New York's so damn dirty, man.
So are you glad that you're back?
Yeah, man. I remember I was at a show one day and I said I was from Alabama and they was like, yeah, dirty South. I was like, look, man, I know that's cute. I was like, but y'all dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all filthy. I said that shit on stage. Like, yeah,
I'm
this is the dirty north, my nigga.
That's facts behind it, man.
Okay, what about you, Jay?
What's that like as far as down south, up north, or
what would you prefer? Because you've been all over as well. So
yeah, I mean, I would probably have to lean down south just because I couldn't see myself living up north very long.
That's right.
I mean, but that's just me speaking on where I've been up north. I have yet to visit New York or New York City, anything that's on the bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
But I've been to Chicago several times. My wife is from Chicago, so we go there at least once a year, and everybody know what goes on up there, and it's rough, man. It's exactly what you read about, hear about. It's rough, and I was up there one day, not one day, one year in January, and fucking snow came up to my fucking knee, bro, and I was traumatized, and the motherfuckers was just like, the city didn't sleep. They was out there like going, like it's like fucking blizzard going on out there,
Everything's still open. You still gotta go to work.
Right. And it was business as usual, bro. Like that was nothing. And I'm sitting here thinking about if there's even a threat of fucking a snowflake dropping on the ground, this shit is getting shut down.
Everything down. Everything. Yeah.
It fucked with me up there, man, because I was like, this was like 2018, and I'm just like, was just in awe because down here, there wouldn't have been none of that. They, and they granted they do invest in their snowplows. Say what, bro?
We would have been close like a week and a half or some shit.
Yeah. And man, and then having to fucking shovel your car out of snow every damn day, that was a no-go, bro. Literally. Had to shovel our car out of the snow just so we could fucking drive and get where we get to. Like that, I could man. But I mean, granted though, the food there's like no other. Like some of the food that you get up north, you can't get nowhere else. Just like vice versa down here, like you said, CJ, it's a different type of love, But but like you said, you brought up a good point as well. The morals and the values, just me being, I guess what you call a Southern gent, as they call us and whatnot. It's just, that's just what I know. And no disrespect to all the Northerners and whatnot, but it's just, the hospitality down here is like no other. So
I'm gonna tell you like this, and no disrespect, but that's why I went up to New York, was taking all the niggas girl. From yes, thank you, please, all of that shit was working.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Nice.
They love that shit, bro.
Yeah.
They love that shit.
It's dangerous just being educated too. Like if you trying to, like I'm engaged to be married as well, but it's like it's dangerous as hell just being yourself when it comes to. I mean, you think about the male ego and like when girls, you can tell, like after a while when you come into yourself and you learn more about you and then tapping back into the whole letting yourself feel things. That actually, I think that's like pheromones or something, and it sends it out.
It is. It is, bro.
And they just cling, they just come, and it's just like, oh, you're so nice. How long have you been here? And I'd be like, bro, I've been out here, like I've been naked out here for a long time. Now I got to put clothes on because you know what I'm saying. Could have been a home here. Could have still been home.
Man.
I guess for me, I'm gonna ride with you on that, CJ. Like I'm kind of torn because the northern experiences that I've had, where have I been? I've been to Baltimore. I don't know if that's really considered North or Midwest. I don't know.
All that shit north of us, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, straight up.
Sometimes to me, I be like, shit, Nashville is North Hill. It's up there. Yeah, it's like a whole fucking hour I'm driving. I'm like, I went up north yesterday. They're like, where you went? Nashville. They're like, that's still in the South. I'm like, shit.
It's up north.
I'm like, I had to listen to 3 podcasts to get there. So.
We went up north.
But I think the furthest north I've been is Iowa. I had a ex-girlfriend that lived there. She's from there. She's cool. And it's like we had to drive through like Chicago. We drove around Chicago and went through like St. Louis, and I mean ain't nothing but field for a long time. Ain't nothing but field, corn, and grass for a long time until you actually get to Cedar Rapids. And so that was an experience in itself. It was hell getting there and hell getting back. Honestly, I did all the driving, like 80, 90% of the driving. It was fucked up. The reason why we are no longer together. All right, so let's see.
All right.
These are really important questions right here. PS4 or Xbox?
I ain't got neither of them.
Okay.
I ain't got neither of them. Yeah.
That's real.
I'm a casual gamer. Like if I go to somebody's house, I'll play the game. I don't have none over here.
he's like, just do what I gotta do.
Yeah,
Respect.
Yeah. What so reading the book itself or doing Audible, like letting it read it to you and you listening?
I want to do more Audible just because I'm actually an audio learner. So I think that may be better for me. I just haven't been able to shake not reading. It's still weird to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be able to, next time I come on the show, I'll let you know. I'm going to try out audio books a whole lot more and let you know.
I'm going to do the same thing because I read, but I actually have a hard time focusing for a long time, like trying to get into it. So like when you read, do you read out loud or you read to yourself or how do you?
I read to myself.
Okay.
I read to myself. It also depends. It depends on what it is that I'm reading. If I'm reading something that's like affirmation based,
okay,
something that I know if I actually say it out loud, it'll change the energy around me, I read out loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did what is the lineage for your reading? Like, where did it start for you?
I just always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed it. I've always been into poetry. I've always been into. I got into reading real heavy in elementary school because I used to read mythology, like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and shit. I used to be obsessed with that shit, and so that's where it started. Yeah.
Okay. And then this is pretty. It's not really that serious, but this will probably be the last one on this section.
Okay.
WAP or tip drill? And we talking video. So
Tip drill.
Yes.
All day.
If you guys, for those of you out there that are listening and not watching this, Tip Drill is an important film that every young male.
This nigga said film.
It is a film that can still a lot of
niggas used to wait till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch that shit. I used to watch Uncut, and now they better play Tip Drill. They better not go through the whole hour and not play Tip Drill. The fuck
it was only right, man. I mean,
it was alright.
I was fucking, man. Well, I was probably what, 11, 12 when that shit came out. Man, I still to this day, I never forget the imagery of them sliding that damn credit card in the crack of her ass. You know, I need a tip drill. Like, that shit is iconic. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. You know, like, this is like songs like Tip Drill is what opened the doors for WAP. Now, granted, I know WAP is more like female dominant and whatnot, you know, respect and all of that, but Tip Drill catered that shit, you know, and it's still to this day.
Tip Drill is legendary, man. There's no, I mean, you know, the women may feel some type of way. Women may feel like WAP is more empowering and this, that, and the third. And I get that. But for me personally, nothing's going to touch this. The only thing that can touch Tip Drill is pussy popping. Ludicrous.
Yeah, facts. That was the only thing that can, it's like Kool-Aid right there.
Yeah.
So this is the another section before we get out of here for real. This is called Finish the Sentence.
Okay.
If I could teleport, I would teleport.
Out of 2020.
That's good.
Yeah.
And by Jay's grunts, I'm gonna accept that as the same thing that you said. All right, next one. I love it when.
Man, I love it when everybody around me is in good health and in good spirits.
Yeah. That's real.
All right.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, okay. It's too early to.
It's too early to. What is it too early to do? It's too early to argue. That's how I feel about it all the time. It's 10:14 right now. I still feel like it's too early to argue.
Facts.
Vibration.
Yeah.
For real. All right. I think we all have thought about this at some point. Shit, I honestly think about it every day. But if I had a superpower, what would it be?
If I had a superpower, I'd be the medicine man. I could heal anything.
That's very thoughtful.
Nah, I'm trying to get out this COVID shit, bro.
That's very.
It's ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
it's part of the
over this shit.
Fucking pandemic. I'm like, yo, this shit do feel like it was a plan because we're gonna shoot real quick. So, long story. I mean, once upon a time, not long ago, maybe like 6 months ago, the orange man in the office decided that he was going to dismantle the pandemic council. These are the people that fight against what we are experiencing right now, and they try to do their best to prevent these types of things from happening, like H1N1, Ebola, all those types of things. You heard about it, how bad it was. Well, it's because a group of folks were working to make sure that shit didn't, go crazy here. Like this is kind of run amok here. So, that, and then with that being said, I know people don't even really get into voting and all that. Do something. I mean, if it's voting, vote, but make sure if you vote locally. Like, vote shit that's gonna change your shit first, so that it trickles down, to Congress and shit like that. A lot of people don't even realize that, and then there's a reason why you don't ever know when to vote locally. Well, it's because they don't want to change. They don't want you to change shit in your own communities. They want you to just get on Facebook and keep complaining about that shit. I was one of them. Like, I used to get on there, say my little shit or whatever, and it wouldn't go nowhere as usual. And then you just arguing with a bunch of people that's on the same, not really on the same level as you, but you going down to their level. Fucking, Yeah. So there's that. Next one. Sometimes I look back in my life and
laugh.
Mm.
A lot.
He's like, laugh, shit.
I mean, you got to, man. You got to laugh every day, man. You got to laugh. You got to laugh.
It's good for the spirit, man.
You say your spirit?
It's good for the spirit, man. It's good for the soul.
So, and this is the last one I'll ask you. The world would be a better place if...
There's a lot that could finish that sentence, huh?
Hell yeah.
No
limits, though. So
would be a better place if people didn't project their pain on the other people. The world would be a much better place.
Wow. Man. And shoot, with that being said, man, I think I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't want to mess with that at all. I like
man.
On that, man. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Let them know where to find all your stuff again, CJ, man, because I don't want them to miss it for real.
Oh, it's cool, man. Follow me on all socials, man. Uncle CJ. UNCLE_SEEJ. And just keep on the lookout, man. Y'all gonna hear about me. The shit that I'm working on, y'all gonna hear about me. So just remember that you seen it here first.
Yeah.
On the way, man. Well, shoot, man. I appreciate y'all for listening or watching the Living Water Chronicles podcast, man. I've been your host, Tad.
This is Jay.
And when life gives you lemons, make lemon water.
There we go.
Shut up.
She's screaming, catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. The realization that I ain't getting no younger is just hit me. I swear it's such a feeling of discomfort mixed with a bit of frustration, and all of the time a nigga done wasted. Got me grinding twice as hard just to make it, feeling like I hated on myself by doubting my own wealth. So I can't trip when that same doubt's coming from someone else. Partner, it is what it is, trying to prove something to myself more than them anyways. But as the world spins on its axis, I've noticed plenty days being used for the planning.